Right, so it's the 27th of the 4th, 2025, and I just want to update you on a few things. I was in mostly yesterday, so I didn't go anywhere, and the burning problem has been extremely bad. This minute in time, I feel 80% of the worstest I felt when I've gone out. So I don't know why that's occurring. There's sort of chest pain, sort of burning, just, you know, the general stuff. Diarrhea, you know, all the symptoms I mentioned has occurred. Crushing inside the top of the head. Nothing you can do about it. Got nothing I can put around my head to stop it. And also got a bit of a headache as well today. Kind of hangover. I did drink a little bit more than I anticipated, but Pete neighbour, he wanted to see me in the garden, and then I ended up going back upstairs, you know, not thinking straight, and I just ended up drinking more. So from now on, I'm gonna have to put a time limit to when I go out, you know, in the garden after, you know, unless I choose to go out, of course, but which would be something like 11 o'clock. After 11 o'clock I don't go out, or, you know, sort of that sort of time maybe. Yeah, so the bike issues really annoyed me today. So there's been about 400 to 500 loud bikes timed to erections, timed to impulses, timed to when the penis flies up in the air. You know, just will not stop it. I'm not being funny, but I'm getting a bit fucked off with this. So it's like every erection, every impulse, when you get in the tube areas of the penis, as soon as you get an impulse, good bang goes loud bike. And obviously time going toilet, whether it's a shit, a wee or whatever, they have to time a loud bike there too. They're constructing every bike on that road deliberately controlled around my fucking penis, and I'm getting fucked off with it. It's been going on for many years. This has 2008 is when I first discovered this, but there's only half the vehicles on the road, half the loud bikes on the road. They're doing it now where they can get every single bike around the country timed to my penis to every erection, and at no other time and no other bike in between. So I'm getting really, really pissed off of it. When you're wanking, you're coming, you're jerking cum, at all stages, they've got a loud bike fixed, and it's been fixed like that for many years, and they're not stopping it. Well, anyway, there's been 400 or 500 incidents today, and I've been quite annoyed by it. Anyway, as far as going out is concerned, let's get with that, shall we? Actually, no, before we get to that, there's been quite a few threats from outside. Not the neighbours in the building, this is outside. Anything from smashing you in to all the usual stuff, to breaking in, to injecting you with HIV, to knifing you dead, to child rapist threats, to woman beater threats, to a dangerous alcoholic, to dangerous schizophrenic, you know, you name it, just pissing, just going on like that. And most of these people are giving me the threats are all mistaking me as Sven, saying he's got to be smashed out or knifed down and stuff like that. Just small-minded people that are fucking nutcases, and the problem is they're dangerous lunatic nutcases that are fucking built like a brick shithouse. That's the problem. So anyway, going out. What happened going? Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. The animal voice sounds, that's been terrible. So you've had anything from dogs saying that you're a child murderer, a child abuser, a dangerous alcoholic, a paedophile, to you're going to the fire of hell, to you're not having sex, or telling me I'm going to be sexually abused in my next life, telling me that God's turns, you know, it's all corrupt. So there's been about 250 to 300 voice sounds roughly. I've not really counted, but that would be the sort of area if I had to guess. I don't think it's any more than that, but there's been some very unusual dog barks and other sounds, including by girls or children making unusual sounds as if they're being cursed to do it. I don't know who Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, Jah or Yah is, or Jesus, but whoever all this is, all the connections of those gods, doesn't seem to me to be the proper God, because A loving God would not do this. So let's now get to going out, shall we? So not the usual, not the what you usually expect to see every day was initially set up going out. So there's a man about, well, I don't know what age he was, 40s, kissing and cuddling a boy aged about 13, 14, but had the sort of look of a boy about the age of 11, as I was walking out the door, leaving Thornhouse to go around the corner. Two black sexual cars came together. Seemed to be some yellow cars, some orange cars. Red, yellow, orange. Doesn't seem to be in much of a initial pattern to start with. You did have a black and blue after that, obviously. Then there was a couple of threats. Let's see if I've got the paper on me. Yeah, so after that, there's a couple of started cars. A couple of rough people in a started car outside of the European shop, the Polish shop, sorry, where the Indian people work. They were giving me a bit of trouble, and they're photographing me saying I'm being shot dead, mistaking me as Saven, and that. Not really many problems by going to the shop, into Farm Foods, just to get like some food and drink or whatever. But you did have a couple kissing and cuddling as I was walking out the shop, and those people that were kissing and cuddling said he's dead meat. And also he was kissing and cuddling a sexual type of woman, one of those really smooth skin types, and if I was to guess his age, I'd say he's about my age or just a bit younger. Right, knife attack said. Then there's an argument back down where the Polish shop is, and saying Saven's no ordinary paedophile. The problem with Saven is more dangerous than that, and saying he's got to be shot and killed. But the problem is that's not my name. What happens then? Walk into a couple of rough people in a rough crowd. There's a bit of a sinister argument in one of the crowds, claiming that I'm Saven. I couldn't make out fully what was being said. It was just walking past normally, as if they're talking to each other, but with the suggestion to apply me, but by mistaken identity of mistaking me as Saven. So again, pretty much calm setups, not much in the way of just a load of vehicles, that's it. So I make it to the bridge, and I decide to go across onto the road, because I'm doing a walk. I've got to come here again tomorrow, by the way, because I've got a meeting with the mental health team. So that's not until the afternoon, and then obviously I should probably be coming up here also the day after that, because I've got the job centre in the morning. And I can tell you now there could be a bit of trouble there, because some people, it might not be, it depends what type of people are there. Where people are mistaking me as Saven, it could cause arguments and stuff like that. It's hard to say. But however, I have been in bars before, in pubs, and and whatever else, and it's been pretty calm to some extent, apart from a couple of times at Wetherspoons. And although I went to Chicago Rock 3 times and that's it, I did get a bit of trouble there as well, because I'm being mistaken as Saven. But the 94 Club's pretty much okay. Barolo Lounge is okay. But Wetherspoons in particular, out of all the bars, does seem a bit dodgy at times, where people mistake me as Saven, or saying he's being knifed tonight, or he's being shot dead tonight, he's losing his life. But anyway, let's get back to the road. So on that road, and now there's people coming, so it's very difficult to speak. But on that road, you had the usual sort of cars, a lot of sexual cars, black and blue, and this and that, a lot of colliding. So in total you had about 150 vehicles, maybe 200 vehicles, so a bit more than usual, so I had to battle through that while walking on the road before going onto the track. And after that, when I make it onto the track, reaching the farm track, obviously there's a car timed. I don't know how that's being done on a regular basis, but get across the next part. 3 loud bike issues, 8 times loud. Before that, before another 8 times loud, timed up what I nicknamed the catalytic converter hot point. Then there were 6 cars. All cars were red, yellow and orange. After that you had a Duffields van, and then obviously I've made it to where I am now. Oh, and a loud bike after that, sorry. Right, so penis up motorbike, dumper truck up me with shit carried on it. Catalytic converter, stench, grey car at me, Crow says, Amy Weston, Justin, nobody left. And initially I had to come off the road because of how busy the road got. So you had about 70 cars, that's 70, for a road where you can have basically the same road where the record breaking amount was 10 cars in one direction, whatever direction it is, before 6 weeks ago, from July 2024. But you know, this road has been busy. It's just I've been lucky in most cases where this part of the road has always been under 10 vehicles in one direction up until 6 weeks ago, since July 2024. So, you know, obviously there's been 30 or 40 since that time, but it's dropped back down again around the time when the sexual setups started occurring in that time period of about a month ago. That's where it dropped, and it's still not been too bad till this minute in time. So, but it's changeable, it varies. It looks like the government are fucking firing up with all these setups, getting nasty about it. Black and fucking blue collide and white at me. Black and fucking blue, black and fucking blue, black and fucking blue again, and then red, black and fucking blue, red again, and black and fucking blue. Then there's like a symbol that looks like the old pound coin symbol, the royal symbol, on the side of a van, and then a nice beastie knife shaped but also gun looking fucking black car timed. And I think I managed to get photographic evidence, I'm not sure, because the camera lens display is the display LCD screen, whatever you call it, doesn't work now on the camera, so I just have to assume that I managed to get a photograph of it. And this were very gun suggesting, this vehicle. So obviously these setups are getting much nastier since around the time of several months before the Labour Party got into power. I mean, the setups have never been nice, but when Conservatives were in power, you know, the setups weren't as intense or as malicious in hitting outs. But then again, ever since the end of the lockdown, these setups have been much nastier than what they've ever been before. So I don't know what's going on. Right, so the enamel seems to be coming off my teeth. Got like that dry, chalky taste inside my mouth when you rub your tongue against the teeth. Anyway, let's get with the setups. So we've had a grey car my way. Someone said being shot dead. A t-shirt saying burn in the fire of hell. Yes, he's a sick paedophile, sorry. Grey car. Going across the field, there was no problems. 2 cars reaching the road again. When I get to the next road, there's a grey car timed and an orange gun looking. And the last period of time walking down the track, there's been no problems. So it's a bit down than usual, but you did have a lot of activity earlier today, though it's mostly kissing and cuddling and busy traffic on one section, a couple of threats, It's not been too bad, but anyway, I'll keep you updated on whatever else happens. Right, so the display screen on the camera, as I was saying earlier, doesn't work, but now we've got another problem because I just took a scenery shot, just aiming the camera hoping that I get the best shot because I can't see what I'm taking, and I don't know if it's actually taking it because the green light is flashing on the back of the camera. When that occurs, it means there's an issue. So whatever I've taken, whether it's come out, I do not know. So I hope I've got that picture of that gun-shaped car that I took a picture of earlier. But like I said, I just don't know. Anyway, there's only been one problem in the last 5 minutes or so, and that's someone sneezing in my direction. They've updated the information on the sign where they close the path off. It says, danger, keep out, keep dogs on lead at all times, and something else or rather, I can't remember what it said now, because obviously I'm walking away from there now. And on the no entry part, which is still there before they put that bigger sign on that fence and whatever, someone's put sexual stuff like love hearts and little stickers of stars and sex, that sort of stuff all over the no entry signpost. Not signpost, the fence that's blocked up half of. Has been closed off since around just after the sexual suggested setups that was happening just over a month ago. There was a furthest point that I used to go, and it goes to like another short road before another road, and on that other road it takes you to the main road where West Coker is just around the corner, so like a quarter or half a mile, or not even that, I'm not sure how far. But anyway, like I said, I can't reach that point anymore, but it's not far off from your furthest point anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. I have tried taking a picture of the evidence, because mostly of the no entry sign, because of the sexual stickers that have been put on there. But unfortunately, with the camera playing up, I don't know what I photographed, so if it hasn't come out, I'll have to redo it tomorrow or something, or whenever, when I've got the other camera, because the display screen's playing up on the camera, and with the light flashing, it's not guaranteed what pictures have come out. Right, blue, white and blue, white car. Davies Turner lorry. A laughing face t-shirt. Crowfuck DAH. Another bike issue tied to a stretch. And a black car. So, not many setups at all, considering. It's all for, even though it's a Sunday, I don't think I've actually been down here where the setups have been next to no setups at all, hardly, so that's a bit of a relief, because I do have a bit of a headache, from oversleeping, hangover, possibly, could be because of the garlic. If I've eaten too much garlic, which I did yesterday, you end up getting a headache the next day or the day after, so I'm probably paying for that, basically, while the thin blood replaces itself with thicker blood, maybe. I don't know what's happening, but now that garlic's gone through me, you get these headaches. So, but once it goes, it'll be gone, so better to have it now than later on. But I needed something for my chest, because my chest was playing up, and I tend to help that the garlic has helps with the lungs, and I haven't smoked any cigarettes for about 40 hours, so all roll up, so sticking to it best I can. Haven't had any, and see how long I can do without, because obviously I'm getting chest pains now, so something's got to be done. I'll probably still smoke though, but not that often. Right, so you've had a t-shirt saying Sophie, which is basically a female name. Apart from that, there's been no other people down this path. There's been no setups down this path. There's been no animal voice sounds down this path in the 10 minutes I've been walking this path, or just under, which is quite remarkable, to be fair, because I've never walked this path ever before. Never, that's never. even when it's been 8 o'clock in the evening on the rare occasion. I've never walked this path where I've had no problems right through from start to where the road is, where I'm walking now, so I'm really shocked on this. So I might as well keep it on the course, see what's coming now. Right, so great. It's new for you. Hang on. Right, it says it's new for you. It's new, and that's N-E-W, the number 4 and then U, the letter U. So it says it's new for you. I need to stop this, I need to write this down a minute. Right, so I've just been for a walk on the back track, which is usually flooded or got a lot of, sort of waterlogged, and it only takes you to the road I just came from for another load of setups. So you had a grey car, faded yellow car, a white car, Layla Turner van, Advance Air van, 2 grey cars, a red car, white car, and a couple of other cars, can't remember what the colour is. Anyway, I turned around to go back, and now just going towards the field where I saw those 2 people going back a few weeks ago. So there's a bloke who's got grey hair, fully grey hair. There's a likelihood he's older than me. Kissing and cuddling a lady with long black hair, who's only aged about early 20s, about 25 maybe. A new age looking type, you know, the type that usually have these like gothic clothing, listen to heavy metal. She could be older, but to me she only appeared to look about 25, and she did have smooth skin because I could see it through the camera when I tried taking photographic evidence when I was in a mood. But unfortunately the camera switched off, and they turned, so I had to walk back. But why do people always moan at me about the age gap? If this is the case, when I've seen quite a lot of this, mine. It's not uncommon for me to see people with different age gaps kissing and cuddling, but fuck knows what's going on. Right, so the last 15 minutes has been pretty calm actually. Just a grey car on the dead end section, followed by a white car coming out of the dead end section onto the road where there can be 45 minutes without any traffic. She did obviously wonder what I was talking about, because it's not a normal thing I was talking about, and she had her window down. Then there was a red car, and then a white car, and then a light blue sexual car on the road where there can be 45 minutes without any traffic. Since I got past the roundabout earlier on, these setups completely dropped to nothing. I mean, there's been a few suggestions here and there that I've mentioned from the road, but when you consider all these paths have been clear, all the animal voice sounds haven't been there, hardly any loud bikes to erections, and the overall flow of traffic in general seems to be pretty good, so I'm a little bit surprised by that. So, I've not known it this quiet, even on the quietest days, or if not since last year. But then again, it was later times I was coming in this direction last year, and I noticed, if I remember, it's all busier than what it is this evening then, so just a little bit of luck today, I think. Right, so I just made a discovery while playing the recordings back and writing down the stuff that's occurred and all that sort of stuff. The Sophie t-shirt that occurred is the last setup that occurred before you had that van. Well, you had a grey car first, but then you had a van that said, what is that? I'll just get the paper a minute. It's new for you. So basically what they're saying there is Sophie is for you. So if you want to look at it on like a lover suggestion or sexual partner suggestion or a new lady coming into your life, they're saying that Sophie is for you. The Sophie's not a bad sounding name, because there's 2 Sophies that I used to know. Not very well, but I knew them a little bit. You had Sophie Small, who was a girl I used to know back at Elmwood School when I was a child, but obviously she's married now and got children, and she won't even have a fucking clue who I am. She won't even have a clue who I was. But and then the other Sophie was the Sophie that worked at Morrison's in Highbridge, Burnham-on-Sea, before it closed down and became B&M. The last 2 or 3 times I saw her, she was actually having conversations or starting to speak to me in a friendly way, which surprised me. And then obviously I didn't see her after that because Morrison's closed down. And then it's about 4 or 5 years since I saw her again after that, because obviously it went over into the B&M store from Morrison's. When I saw her again, it was in the time period of when the Savem threats were coming in, when I was being mistaken as that person, which would have been sort of 2017 area, whatever year it was. Anyway, I'm a bit difficulty mentioning this because there's people in my direction. It is the only movement control I have had in quite a while now of today. So obviously, it pushes me to the road, and they time a catalytic converter on the road where the 45-minute period where you can have no traffic. So that's what they needed to do. They needed to push me on that road. That's what the government needed to do, or God needed to do, because he's a crooked cunt. Anyway, getting a little bit annoyed because I'm trying to state this issue with the Sophie T-shirt, followed by the It's New For You van. It might sound like it's a nice sexy name or whatever, but they could be referring to an 80-year-old granny with the name Sophie, or they could be referring to a lady that's very sexy who's also named Sophie. So it's hard to know who they're suggesting and what the reason is for that suggestion. But, you know, without any idea of who this person is, the likelihood is, if you look at all the setups being negative all the time, then they're probably referring to someone that's very ugly with the same name. But it might mean something different, I don't know. Anyway, I'll leave it there on that bit. Right, so obviously, like I said, those people pushed me out from that path, and obviously they timed another 15 fucking cars in my direction. You've had a black gun looking car and a blue and grey red white on the roundabout up there. Right, so they want to increase the setups. I've noticed this, where I've been, it's been calm, but like I said, these people pushed me out of there because they needed to get out, so I was trying to do the recording. Where these people are walking in my direction seems to have put me in their control, where they've organised and rigged up heavier setups around me. So the likelihood is that Sophie they're suggesting is probably a 90-year-old granny. But you know, my willy's up as a motorbike, and that's what God wants, or the government, or whoever's controlling my movement in this buckled, corrupt, fucking fucked up way. Right, hang on. Right, there's been some women that were laughing at me in their 30s while passing me in the car. So I made it to the next section. So you have the final setups with Muller Milk, Tesco's van, there's All Over van. Well, what else occurred? I can't remember. But you had quite a few cars. I'd say there's in total, if you count the cars that occurred after the ones that occurred as I reached there, you're probably looking at around about 70 cars, which is quite a lot, but I have known it to be busier. There's about 200 cars or something like that going back, a couple of days ago when I came up here, whatever, on the return journey. I think it was when I was walking back, which is around record breaking or possibly more. I'm not sure what the initial amount used to be. So yeah. As far as this road goes, initially I had a bike only, time to a stretch, a white sexual car, and that's basically it at the moment. That is. Right, so let me update you on the issues in the last hour and 10 minutes. Well, obviously I've had a very bad headache and it's been worsening, so I've been lying down on the bench. obviously it's very unlikely, but if my headache was like really, really, really bad, that would probably be my destination of where I would be sleeping tonight. But obviously I don't believe that the headache would get that bad, though it is possible, but it's unlikely. And you know what's caused it, don't you? It's the garlic. Every time I have garlic and eat it raw, the next day or day after I get a massive fucking headache, and I've got it today. So usually after 24 hours to 48 hours, then you start to feel normal again. Right, the other thing I want to mention is, because I've been lying down, I've not walked to the road more than 10 times, and all 4 times that I've reached that road, they've timed an orange sexual car, and it's all been the same shade of colour, just a normal orange sexual car timed when I've reached that road. It's a bit unusual because that's the only colour car that's occurred. And then you had a grey Jaguar after that on the 5th time, and the other times I walked to that road there's been no setups. In the last hour and 10 minutes there's been roughly 10 loud bikes for erections, which is not too bad considering how bad it was earlier on, but again it's only being timed when that occurs. Right, so about 10 minutes ago I tried doing this recording, but there was people about, so I had to stop it. There was 2 blokes about 80 years of age, so very old blokes, and they were saying that the reason everybody hate me, not saying it to me but saying it in conversation quite calmly, saying the reason everybody hates me is because the CIA or the military or the government or some organisation is feeding down false information about me, causing everyone to basically turn against me, giving people false information, and then it's causing trouble to occur, or people are stirring trouble or whatever. So that's basically what they were saying. After that you had a grey car timed, a yellow sexual car, but it's a sort of it's a certain type of yellow where it's bordering orange. And it's more like a Mini, so it's not as like the Mini that Mr. Bean drives on the TV episodes of Mr. Bean. It's more rounded, that's more square, but it is an old type of car. You had it's not a minibus, but it looks like a minibus. It's like an orange, again it's a more yellowy orange sort of colour, Mini, and it's very shiny as well for the age of the vehicle. So unless it's been repainted, I don't know, 1960s, and it's got like a tyre on the front that looks like a nose, sexual looking appearance on the front, like it's got eyes as the headlights. So you've had that. Sorry about my coughing, but considering I haven't smoked any today or yesterday, I'm surprised about this. I just ended up coughing for the last how long as well. So then you had another grey Jaguar. This grey Jaguar or grey car, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it's a Jaguar, is one of the older types. It's the same type as what Dawn was driving, which is one of the neighbours that used to live at North Peverton many years ago, about 20 years ago, whatever, more than that. So she used to work in Portman stores, so she was like a smooth skinned lady in her high 30s if I remember. So at the time, that is, I don't know what age should be today. And Richard, who worked also at Portman stores, who was in his 50s, fancied this Dawn, but obviously Dawn was in a relationship. She's got several daughters. One of them's called Sammy, but I don't really know them that well. They don't like me enough to get on with me as friends or whatever. But it did get to a stage where alright was being said in the village street back in those days. But that's it. I say today hasn't been too bad for setups, but looking back, me walking through Yeovil, quite a lot of kissing and cuddling and struggling to cross the road, and a couple of bike issues, and a couple of threats or whatever, and followed by the very busy road where you had about 150 cars or something like that in a short period of time. before, you know, going to the roundabout where it was busy and then returning back to the roundabout where it was busy. I mean, you had the next road, which was further on, and then you had the end point, which I go to. I mean, that was, nothing happened there, you know, it's all calm as anything like that, the road's down there and the paths. But you did have a little suggestion that occurred on, you know, a track I took, which is usually waterlogged, and got to the road, whatever. So it's not been bad, but I still think you have to seriously say that it's been a bit above what I was saying earlier, where I said it's the calmest I've known it near enough. I think you need to go just a little bit above that, so there's a bit more action than I initially thought while looking back on the things that have occurred today, but it still hasn't been that bad. I would also like to mention that although setups could be calm for most of the day, you've got to take into account, if we go back to Christmas Day last year, the year before that, I was getting a whole load of trouble on threats, and you know, it was busy everywhere, even Christmas Day. So, you know, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is or what time it is, these setups can change instantly. So, you know, it's been calmish most of today, calm to moderate, but all in all, that means nothing, because all this action could just suddenly fly off the handle in the next 10 minutes or whatever. It varies, or it could just remain the same, or it could even be calmer. But, you know, that's yet to come. As it stands at the moment, I don't think it's going to be too bad, but that's unpredictable, because I've said this before, not on recordings, but I have mentioned it, and, you know, just suddenly becomes you know, really busy or whatever. So, you know, it's like that. Right, now to the burning sensation. I said it was about 80% bad earlier, so that's dropped to about 50 or 60% at this minute in time. So it's still there, but it's reduced to about the average of how I usually feel as an average for this time in the evening. In general, I have known it to be a little bit worse at times on certain days, but probably your average amount of sort of burning sensation. It will eventually go, but it takes about 48 hours, and you have to be in a different environment than at my place for that to occur. I don't quite know why it's happening only at my place. I mean, I can only speculate, but I can't guarantee anything. I mean, it could be anything, but you know, it's unusual that it only happens at my place, and it also causes, like, you know, the diarrhea and other things like that, so, and struggling to breathe and that. Mind you, I haven't smoked any fags, maybe that's doing it, I don't know. Because, you know, but then again, whether I smoke or don't smoke, I've done, you know, I never used to get a burning problem. And, you know, it's the same when I went to my mum's, you know, or on holiday. I had 16 shots of Zambuca, and I was, you know, no burning at all. So, you know, can give up smoking, can start smoking. I just don't know what's causing it. But obviously the doctor has his own opinion, and my neighbour Pete, who's highly trained and experienced in knowing a lot about the medical side of schizophrenia, he has a similar theory, or thinks that as well. But like I said, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I don't think it is. I think it's something different. It could be something wrong with my body, but it's, at the same time, it would be happening at other places. That's what doesn't make sense, so I'm not sure what it is. Right, so there's several things I want to mention. I've had to do the recording quite a few times because I keep on messing it up, because I keep forgetting what to say. Right, so initially, someone mistakes me as Sven, and they say, "Deb meet Sven, paedophile break his neck." Obviously, my name's not Sven, but this person thinks I am. Right, so then there's a started catalytic converter, so I have to be choked out by that, which is a grey car that started. I then look at my phone to see what the time is, and it says 9 PM on the nose, so that means exactly 9 PM exactly. And then there's an Amy Weston lookalike in my direction, but this is Amy Weston of how she would have looked 20 years ago, not how she looks today. So the only difference with this person that passed me is she had more of a sort of sinister appearance in the face, where Amy Weston doesn't have that sinister look to the face. Not by much, but you can see that there's like a sinister look to the face and slightly more dry and sarcastic appearance in the face than what Amy Weston has. Also, this lady that passed me had slightly different skin. Where the lady that passed me had like a smooth skin, a sexy smooth skin looking appearance, you know, that's which I mentioned is a sexual looking type. Amy Weston had a slightly different type of skin. She had like a soft skin that's looks wet. It looks wet, to be fair. It's like oily or very wet. It's sort of very silky. I don't know what the word is that you use, but Amy Weston seemed to have like a wet appearance in the skin, and it looked like it was soft, not, you know, not a normal skin of your average sexy looking lady, if you get what I'm saying. It's different. Anyway, this Amy lookalike got a little bit nasty when she passed me and said, "Oh, you're fucking staring at you fucking paedophile. You have your fucking head kicked, you fucking need to go," and stuff like that. She just, I can't remember the exact wording because obviously I've not written it down properly yet, because I've only encountered this about 15 minutes ago, and I've tried doing this recording about 10 times. Anyway, straight after that, I go to the next section, which is the next road. A van passes. I'm not sure what van it is, but if I was to guess, it's the Yodel van, the YODEL, the green van. I can't guarantee that 100%, but that's what it looked like, because obviously it passed from behind after I got cut onto the next section of road. So there's a black car and a blue car, a dark red car, and then a light blue sexual car. And that basically takes you to where I am now. I've actually not even started my vodka yet. Where I'm struggling to do this recording, it's delayed me, so, you know, apart from when I was drinking the beer for the first week or whatever, when I came back from the holiday of my mum's, I wasn't satisfied with the beer. I was drinking at 10:30, but since that time, every single night, near enough, I've always drank by 9 o'clock, so I am actually late drinking. However, I don't have any actual plans for this evening, so it's not going to really affect me too much. I mean, I'm going to be back by 11 o'clock because that's my new sort of time to settle down and go to bed. Yeah, my old time of drinking used to be something like 11 to half 11, or 10:30 to half 11, you know. But I'm trying to get into like a routine where I get up earlier, because when I was doing that, you wasn't getting up until 11 o'clock the next day, and that's very late in the morning, and, you know, half the day's gone when I'm getting up, especially if I've had a hangover. So, got to get to grips with that. Right, there's something else I was going to mention. Earlier today, I did actually see someone that looked very similar to Amy's, you know, Amy Weston's sister. She has a sister called Shara, but she's more serious looking in the face. However, she does have the same skin type as this Amy, whereas like wet looking, if that's the right word to use, you know, silky or oily. It's hard to describe, very soft. But anyway, it's not relevant, is it? So, you know, just saying that this person looked like her. However, I didn't state it earlier because I didn't take it as being irrelevant. But there has been a few issues that have occurred. About 8 minutes after I did that recording, a dog barks "fucked Amy Weston, fight, knife." Well, the problem is I've never had sex with her, and for a dog to lie, or God to lie, or curse a dog to say that, is a little bit far-fetched, as always. Someone says hospital bed. There's a blue started car. I've not seen this van before. The van says 1 minute on the side of it, and that was timed as I came to the road. In the distance there was police sirens, and then there's a couple of cars while I was walking to where I am now. I just want to mention something else before I start my vodka, because I'm really late at starting my vodka tonight. The last time I came here, there was 2 teenagers that were doing it. I thought it was all going to kick off, or I was going to have to shout or whatever because of the situation. Well, yes, they did shout at me, but they were actually calm about it. So the youth, he just walked past me, but he walked past me in a very slow, sort of way where he's getting ready to start a row, but he didn't. And obviously the girlfriend, who again is only 15, 16 or whatever age it is, told me not to report it or anything like that, and tried to put her hands on me and the rest of it. And I thought, don't touch me because you've probably got cum on your hands. And then obviously they went together. He called his missus and said, come on, will you, come on. And then obviously they started whispering to each other, talking quietly. And then that's when they started shouting as they left completely, as I went, as they went up there, and I came in there, and then I had my vodka. But anyway, I don't need to go into that subject or go into details because I've already mentioned it. But tonight it's nice and cool in there. Not cool in there, but nice and calm, nobody about. But someone else been in there because there's a packet of Disco's crisps. A blue packet of Disco's crisps. I've not seen those before. Someone must have been hearing a disco in there, I guess. Only joking. Yeah, my music. Guys, in the last 10 minutes I've just been fucking about timing loud bikes for erections. Obviously I've had my vodka now. I've had the equivalent to 1.5 shots. And I'm feeling it tonight for some reason. That's unusual, considering the amount I've drank, last night or on other nights. But just fucking enjoy it, because obviously I'm stopping this soon. Obviously not going to be until the middle of this week or whatever. I will get around it. It's very difficult at the moment because obviously I'm living in accommodation where Burnley's occurring all the time. I have to keep going out all the time, stop to eat it, because the symptoms don't occur when I go out or go other places. But if I cut down drinking, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm walking back feeling like a piece of shit, completely sober. And with lager, it's going to take a bit of time for me to get back to the use of lager again. But I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Let's just not worry about this tonight. But the thing is, with my life fucking going downhill all the time, it's unbelievable. I don't know how to put it. I'll leave it there, for fuck's sake. It might work different for different people, but for me, I need that, that entertainment, in the evening, I need that girlfriend, I need that life, but I'm never going to get this. This is the problem. This is where people don't understand the situation. Trying to make yourself feel better, you can't. You're suppressed 24/7. It works different for other people. It might work for some people, but not others. But I'm that sort of person where it's not going to work. I did mention this on a previous video. I think it was the day before yesterday, something like that. I told my doctor 15 years ago, if I had a partner and this partner was sexy enough to fancy to a point where I could enjoy sex, to a point where it's good enough from being sexually abused as a child, and it's someone that's very nice, I wouldn't go around writing all my problems down anymore, or photographing problems in the street, or audio recording threats or stuff like that. But obviously my doctor said, well, that's not going to happen, and sort of thing, or it's not going to. I know one doctor said it's not going to happen. I think it's the older doctor. He says it's going to be very difficult. And one of the other doctors said there's time left. It's not until you're in your 40s that you've got to start being concerned. But the problem is, I'm in my 40s now. I'm 44. But you've got to take into account, when he told me this is 15 years ago, and I still got no one. So it's unlikely I shall end that page. It's very unlikely I shall end my journal. I think this is going to last for the rest of my days. It does make you wonder whether I should continue drinking or not, because although my health could get a lot worse, what else is there? Seriously, what else is there? I mean, there's never good days, and I've always had to be dependent on drink in the evenings, you see, for that support, to make me feel like I want to work, you know, to make it worth like, you know, to make it feel like it's worth living. You know, you can't go to Christianity, religion, all that, because it's all against me, as I mentioned many times before. And the gate shutting on me. It's very difficult. I mean, you've got to be in a situation, and you know, obviously if I did get a partner, these problems are going to continue. But the thing is, if I had that partner, I wouldn't let it bother me so much. I'd just let it pass by, I wouldn't write it down, you know. But the thing is, it's not going to happen. And finding someone that I can actually fancy in my age group that's not a single mother, quite simply, is impossible. In other countries it might be fine, but I live in the UK where everyone's very dry and sarcastic and serious, and people have a different attitude in the UK than they do in other countries. It's not going to happen. So, you know, the likelihood is I'm just going to continue what I'm doing for the rest of my days, however long that is. Gonna stab AIDS in the fucker, said from a window. I pass a window, but before I can confirm anything, I'm not happy with what I saw, but obviously there are funny people out there. So this person was underage, and also this chap was quite old. I won't go into any more details. Next problem. I'm going to stab you with AIDS, you sick fucker, said. I'll just get a... Yeah. Child pervert, stab you with AIDS, said. And a crow says Amy Weston. I don't know why it's saying Amy Weston, because I've never had sex with her, I've never been with her. But, there's been no, setups that have really been that, interesting today, you know. You've had those sexual setups lately, you know, those sort of interesting setups, you know, sort of to try and make it sound like your life's going to get better and all the rest of it. I mean, you had some kissing and cuddling earlier, but it wasn't, it's irrelevant sort of to what came out. So there was one interesting setup, but like I said, there's no guarantee on this, and I don't know who this is. You had that Sophie t-shirt, followed by another. Well, basically, we had the Sophie t-shirts, I mentioned that. Then as I was walking to the road, I was sort of documenting whatever it was. Just general stuff. But there was no setups in between the Sophie t-shirt and the van that said something. I can't remember the exact wording now, because the sheet's in my pocket somewhere, but it was basically to say that there's something new for you because everything has fallen through. It's done that way to say Sophie is for you, but it's new because everything's fallen through. But the problem is, even though these setups are occurring, sometimes they could fall out of place. Do you know what I mean? It's very unlikely and it's very rare. But for that to occur, followed by that, it just seemed very interesting. Because, you know, I don't actually know anyone called Sophie. Just those two people I mentioned earlier on. The one at Elmwood School and the one that worked in Morrison's. But the thing is, it depends if they're doing it to be spiteful, or whether they're doing it to be nice, depending on where the setup's coming from or what's causing it, whether it's a creator god, the government, or whatever's causing it to come out in that way. I mean, this Sophie could be an 80-year-old granny, or someone that's very old and very ugly, or it could be a beautiful woman that's at a young age. You just don't know. However, you know, if you look at it on a positive angle, you know, it can suggest good, but you just have to wait and see on this, because Sophie's not even a name a clairvoyance predicted before. Sophie's a brand new name. Apart from those two people, I don't know anyone under that name. But basically what these setups are occurring, I don't know, like I said, I can't be guaranteed it's caused by God, or whether it's caused by the elite, the government, but telling me that I'm going to get someone called Sophie just seems a rather unusual setup. I saw that Sophie t-shirt the other day as well. Otherwise, apart from that, actually, come to think of it, I've not seen any Sophie. I've seen Sophia furniture before, a van which was at Highbridge, but the actual word Sophie on a t-shirt or Sophie on a van has never occurred before in the past. Never. So, I don't know. Right, so, God doesn't want me listening to music. So firstly I step in a load of cow shit or some form of dog shit or whatever it is, and I struggle to get that off. As I put a twig into the shoe to get the shit out of my shoe, I rip out the headphones from the MP3 player I'm listening to, and then that aligns me for an ear-shattering loud bike to an erection and a couple of threats as well. So obviously God wants my fucking headphones off so he can tell me his fucking word to give me a load of fucking shit with his fucking threats from his fucking people. Cruelty, fucking sexual slaughter, terror away. Right, so walking back, several rough crowds, bikes to erections, black and fucking blue, grey, white, sick, you know, you name it. Knife shaped, and quite a few rough people angled and positioned and constructed in my way.